Good evening. I'm Cynthia McBride, the pastor of First Christian Church, Disciples of Christ in Portland, Oregon. It is Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. Each evening during Holy Week, I'm reflecting with my congregation on passages of Scripture that are tied to the events of the last week of Jesus' earthly life. On Tuesday of that week, as Jesus was journeying towards the cross, each day brought him nearer to his own crucifixion, his death. On that Tuesday, scholars speculate that he was near the temple in Jerusalem after his triumphal entry that we remember on Palm Sunday. Different Gospels tell the story in slightly different orders, but most likely he was still in Jerusalem around the temple, teaching, engaging with the crowd, and in conversation with the Sadducees and the Pharisees. Matthew 22 and Mark 12 both record a conversation. A lawyer asked Jesus, "Which commandment is the greatest?" And Jesus replied, "To love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and to love your neighbor as yourself. These two are the greatest commandments. On them all the law and the prophets hang." Surely to love God, first and foremost, with all we are, with all we have, and to love our neighbors as ourselves, is at the core of what it means to claim the name Christian, to be a follower of Jesus Christ. How do you love your neighbor? How do you care for those who are near you? During COVID-19, the coronavirus pandemic, many of us are showing love for our neighbors in an unusual way. We're sharing love by not spending time with them. We're sharing love by staying away. To follow the directive of our Governor Brown in Oregon, or the governor of many other states, wherever you live, to follow the wise guidance of health and medical professionals to try to flatten the curve of COVID-19, to stay home, is actually an act of love. Many members of my congregation are doing just that. They're limiting their trips out, even to the grocery store. Today, one member of the church told me she went out and she got groceries, and she intentionally got enough to last for 2 weeks, and that's the last time she'll go out at all. To stay home is, in fact, to save lives, to care for others. There's a second specific way that my congregation is loving our neighbors right now. We are working hard with partners in downtown Portland to feed the hungry, providing sack lunches in the South Park blocks daily, providing a hot meal Tuesday night and on the weekends. These feeding ministries answer Jesus's call to love our neighbor. I have a friend whom I've known since high school, who really touched my heart. There's actually a group of us. There are 4 girlfriends that have stayed in touch through the years. At class reunions and other times, we get together and laugh, and it's almost as if we just graduated from high school yesterday, even though it's been 35 years. In honor of our friendship, and to help support those feeding ministries, one of these friends made a symbolic gift to the church. She's pledged to give $35 a month to support the feeding ministries. I'm really touched. How are you loving your neighbor during this time of pandemic? If you're staying home and you're frustrated because life is inconvenient, maybe it will help you to remember that that itself is an act of love. To work from home, or to sacrifice the privilege and freedom of seeing your grandkids anytime you want, or just going out to run an errand when it's convenient. Maybe there are other specific ways that you are loving your neighbor. Phoning a friend to check in on them, writing a postcard to someone who's needing encouragement, praying for others. I encourage you, intentionally during this Holy Week, to be mindful of how you are spending your time in work and rest and prayer, and to know that everything you do can actually be a sign of love, a sign of answering those two great commandments, to love God and to love our neighbors as ourselves. May this week truly be holy for you. In fact, may this season of pandemic be a spiritual blessing that draws you closer to God and gives you time to reflect on what is most important. May love be as real in your life this night as it was fully embodied in the life of Jesus so long ago on that Tuesday when he stood near the temple and talked with his friends and with strangers about what commandments matter the most. Love. Love matters the most.